In this video, I will share with you 6 lessons from the book The Richest Man in Babylon. It's one of the most famous and oldest financial books. This book tells a story that is said to have taken place in ancient Babylon. It is written in form of a narrative. So basically, a young man asks a wealthy person to be his mentor, and the wealthy man slowly teaches him the rules of wealth. Most of the ideas and financial lessons in this book are timeless and seem to follow common sense, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone knows and applies them. Lesson number 1. Pay yourself first. For every 10th coin you earn, give one to yourself first. No matter how much money you make, set aside at least 10% of your income for your investments before spending on anything else. Now, some of you might say, isn't what I earn mine alone? Unfortunately, that's not entirely true. The government takes its share first, so you have to pay taxes. Then you pay for rent, insurance, gas, food, and other monthly expenses. The book draws an analogy between expenses and slavery, urging you to view each expense as if you are working like a slave for someone else. If I earn $3,000 a month and pay $1,000 for rent, it means I work for my landlord for 10 days, 2 days for insurance, and 1 day for my internet provider, and so on. Most of us end up paying everyone else except ourselves. Some of you watching this video might think that saving 10% of your income for investments is way too much. If you belong to that group, consider this scenario. Imagine going to work tomorrow and your boss tells you the company is struggling. Unfortunately, you'll be fired unless you're willing to give up 10% of your income. You'll probably get angry and complain, but you wouldn't quit your job. After a while, you'd get too used to the new situation and not feel the difference in your quality of life. Personally, I think you don't have to start with 10%. You can start with 3 or 5%. The key is to start with a certain amount and train yourself to save. Another powerful analogy is to see every dollar you save and invest as a new soldier added to your army. This soldier will tirelessly fight day and night to recruit another soldier who will fight for you. And this newly gained soldier will in turn fight to recruit another one. This process continues over and over again. However, when you start spending money, you eliminate your own soldier. Now let me share my opinion on this lesson, as it's the central idea of this book. Many people who have read the book start saving 10% and investing for the long term, relying on this strategy to make them rich. But this is not the best strategy. I will tell you why. Long-term investments take a considerable amount of time to show visible results, often not until you are already retired. For example, if you invest $100,000 with an annual return of 10% for 40 years, your investment will return $4.5 million at the end. That sounds great, but what most people don't realize is that after 30 years, the result is only $1.7 million. And if you check your account balance after 20 years, you'd find only $672,000, if all goes well. Yes, you can make a lot of money relying on long-term investment, but here's the big question. Do you really want to be rich only at 65 years? Do you want to drive your dream car when you're 65 years old? I don't know about you, but that wouldn't be enough for me. I want to enjoy life while I'm young and full of energy. I believe this long-term strategy works. It works for many people, and it's a great path. But if you're young and want to be wealthy during this time to enjoy your life, then this strategy is not the right one for you. That's why I stopped long-term investing and started investing my 10% in business opportunities. Lesson number 2. Take advice only from people who have knowledge about the topic. The book tells a story where the main character invests money with a foreign jeweler who promises to obtain rare gems at a low cost. The main character gets scammed and returns with fake jewels. In my opinion, relying on experts is not enough. You need to understand something about the industry and do your own research before meeting with an expert and trusting them. My experience has taught me 3 significant lessons about experts, especially in the financial world. Firstly, experts are often people employed by a company and paid by that company. Whose interest do you think these people will follow? Mine or the company that pays their salary? So I'm usually skeptical about what is offered to me because their promises are generally beneficial for the employer, not for me. Secondly, when an expert tells me that the product is the best and I should definitely invest in it, I always ask if they personally invest in that product, given what a great opportunity it is supposed to be. Most times I find that someone is trying to sell me something and the seller themselves doesn't have confidence in their product. The best investment opportunities don't need advertisements. In fact, you will rarely hear or see anything about the best opportunities. They are usually passed on quietly. If a real estate company or its employees find the best property in the area, they don't advertise it through their portfolio. If possible, they buy the property themselves or ensure that good friends or family have access to the opportunity. My third lesson concerning experts involves fees. Fees can kill your earnings, especially in the long run. However, fees are often downplayed as something insignificant. Typically, you'll hear it's just a 1% fee, not much, right? Just peanuts. An example demonstrates how a 1% difference in fees can have a substantial impact on your long-term financial results. Imagine your grandmother gives you and your brother $100,000 each. Both of you, being young and thinking you don't currently need the money, decide to invest it for the future. Your brother does some research and selects a company with a 1% fee for managing the investment. On the other hand, you skip the research and decide for a company charging a 2% fee. Fast forward 30 years and let's see how this 1% fee difference affects your returns. For example, let's say after 3 decades, your brother's total return will be approximately $1,744,000. However, your return will be only about $1,326,000. Despite everything else being equal except for this 1% difference in fees, you find yourself with $480,000 less than your brother. In essence, you incur a 23.9% loss in earnings due to this 1% difference in fees. Lesson number 3. People who take action have more luck because they create their own luck. Luck often comes in the form of an opportunity, and you must seize it at that exact moment. People who take action quickly seize opportunities and make the most of their chances are the lucky ones. Procrastination and delaying decisions will lead to regret. Both procrastinators and doers face the same number of opportunities, but the difference comes from the amount of opportunities doers take advantage of. Over time, the difference between them grows, and the procrastinators and thinkers begin to think that the other person just had luck or was born into the right family and got the right circumstances, genes, and so on. A few weeks ago, I was talking to a friend and we got into a discussion about a financial book. He told me that he has seen many people buying financial and self-improvement books, but he has never seen anyone actually become rich. He tried to prove that the ideas in this book don't work. I disagreed with him. I firmly believe that people remain poor because they take no action. They read the book, start setting goals, visualize, and that's all they do. They don't take any damn actions. They want to win $1 million in the lottery, but do nothing and don't even buy a lottery ticket. But please forget about getting rich by playing the lottery. In fact, I have never bought a lottery ticket in my life. I just want to say, even if your goal is to win the lottery, it requires an action. You have to buy a ticket. So many people believe that if they constantly imagine leading a wealthy life, money will magically appear at their doorstep. And when that doesn't happen, they claim that the book Richest Man in Babylon and other books are junk. So if you want to be happy, if you want to be rich, do something. Lesson number 4. Don't wish for a specific amount of money. Instead, work towards achieving a consistent cash flow. Many people wish to inherit money or win the lottery. However, any one-time sum of money will eventually be spent and you will be left with nothing again. Many people who receive a large sum of money all at once spend it all within a few years. It's like people going on a strict diet and losing a lot of weight quickly, but after some time they gain it back and weight similar to before the diet because they didn't develop the necessary habits. The craziest thing is that sudden wealth doesn't make people better off. Their clothing style, their standard of living, and everything else surprisingly remains the same. Getting rich is like learning to ride a bike. Once you've learned it, you'll never forget it, and no one can take away that skill. Even if you haven't been on a bike for many years, you can still ride it. A few years ago, I listened to a CEO and he said, "You can't take everything away from us that we have right now. Leave us in the middle of nowhere with nothing, and even then, we'll be back in the same place shortly." Lesson number 5. Invest in your ability to earn more. What does this really mean? It means you should spend your time improving your skills, knowledge, and ability to earn more money. This is one of the golden rules, but it's often ignored by many. Most people stop learning once they leave school. Others are lifelong learners, continuing to learn and improve constantly until they are 90 years old. They keep learning, giving them a significant advantage over time. On the other side, the average person finishes work, goes home, watches TV, and does nothing to expand their knowledge and skills. And lesson number 6, you will lose money if you trade out of greed. There's a significant difference between thinking big and letting greed control your thoughts and decisions. When greed takes over, you start believing unrealistic things and ignore facts. You want it to be true so badly that you stop questioning. Extremely crazy things have become reality before, but please don't trust anyone talking about astronomical returns and magical gains. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. If you study successful investors like Warren Buffett, you will notice that they are very conservative with their investments. They prefer to buy it slowly rather than rush into a risky opportunity. That was the last lesson. If I had to summarize this book in 2 sentences, it will be these. First, save and invest 10% of your income with people and businesses who know their craft. That way you earn more money. Second, treat every dollar you earn as one of your workers. Ensure it can do its job to make more money for you, not less. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and see you the next time.